Hello everyone. In this tutorial, I'm going to guide you through the steps on how to set up Real Caustics and how to make a scene just like this. Caustics inside of Blender and inside of other 3D programs are considered one of the hardest effects to produce because they simply take too much resources from your machinery and they produce a lot of noise. So the majority of artists and even some bigger studios try to avoid using ray traced caustics, and instead they try to use an approach by using a texture or a noise pattern that simulates the caustics without the actual light tracing. So let's try making caustics ourselves. We're going to start with an empty scene. We're going to have basic geometry for the swimming pool and this donut. I'm going to add a mesh and I'm going to position it so it fits the borders of our swimming pool. I'm going to adjust it here and there and make sure that it just fits the borders so it just looks good. Then I'm going to apply the scale and I'm going to subdivide it a couple of times. I'm also going to drop a subdivision modifier on it, and please make sure that your subdivisions in the viewport and in the render match. It's something I forgot to do in the recording, but I'm going to return to it later. Now we're going to make a simple water simulation using dynamic paint. We're going to select our water mesh, click dynamic paint, and create a canvas. Then we're going to adjust the frame start and frame end of our simulation. And after that, we're going to select our simulation type to waves. I'm going to adjust a couple of settings here. They're going to look different depending on the scene that you're working on, but for this current scene, those settings work just fine. Then I'm going to select our donut. It was animated and had a couple of position keyframes on it. We're going to add dynamic paint to it and we're going to set it to brush. And we're just going to add the brush and leave it as it is. With our animated donut and our dynamic water and our simulation frame range set properly, we can just hit play and the simulation should work. So I'm going to go down to the simulation settings and hit bake. Once we are done doing the simulation, we can start working with our add-on and set it up to properly create our caustic patterns. We're going to open the add-on in the panel. Then we're going to go to the top of it and we're going to create a camera. It's going to create us an orthographic camera, which we're going to use. Then we need to take our water mesh and add it to a collection. I'm going to call this water tutorial and I'm going to select this collection to be our water collection inside of the add-on. Then I'm going to go into our camera view, the caustics camera, and I'm going to position it over our swimming pool. I'm going to make sure that the orthographic scale of the camera is okay and that the resolution X and Y of our camera is also good. What we need to do is simply fit our swimming pool into the camera. I'm going to tweak the settings a bit more, adjust the orthographic scale, adjust the X and Y resolutions of the camera, and once I'm happy with the result, once I see that everything fits, I'm going to go into the add-on panel and adjust some of the settings. The most important settings out of this are the intensity, then you got an option to adjust dispersion, and a couple of options to blur and smooth the result of the caustics. Then I'm going to disable preserve displacement, because we're not using shader-based displacement in this scene. I'm also going to turn off use tiling, because this is not going to be a tiling texture. Then I'm going to select the directory to which we're going to save our caustic patterns, and I'm going to adjust a bit of the orthographic scale of our camera so we just have a round number. It's going to be easier for us to work with. I'm going to enter X and Y resolutions of our camera into the settings in the caustics. After that, we are free to pick our main camera, the one that we use for rendering, and input our own resolution into the output settings of the render. Now let's get to the material setup. We're going to use a simple glass BSDF. We're going to set the index of refraction to 1.33, and we're going to add a special node that comes with the add-on called Caustics Water. Then we're going to add our caustics projection node. This node is used for mapping of caustics onto the water surface. We're going to use object coordinate, and we're going to pick our caustics camera. Depending on the version of the add-on, you might have the texture coordinate node hidden inside of the caustics projection node, so you have to go into the node and pick it inside of it. You can see that the caustics projection node has a couple of settings. The first one, the orthographic scale, we have to input the scale of our caustics camera. And for the X and Y resolution, you have to enter the resolutions which we have set up in the caustics panel. After we got our camera set up, our collection set up, our directory set up, and our material set up, we can click generate. We will get our caustic texture in seconds. And what we need to do is we need to open this image texture called caustics in the folder that is specified. And our texture should be ready. This texture has to go into the input of our caustics water node. And between those two nodes, we have to add another node called the caustics energy fix. This is going to be our main artistic node, which we're going to use to adjust the final look of the caustics. I recommend that you always use this node because it's not just a look def node, but it also fixes a couple of fundamental problems with energy conservation and with multiple transparent layers overlaying each other. Okay, let's get back to the material. I'm going to just bring back our trees because I like how they look, and we're going to add another node to our water, which is the volume absorption. We're going to set it up to this blue color, and we're also going to make it a bit darker so it feels like the water is absorbing some of the light. And we'll get back to our caustics energy fix node and tweak the last parameters. We're going to adjust the intensity, the gamma of it to make it more contrasty, and then we're going to adjust the depth of the water, the limit of where the caustics disappear, and also the surface fade, which blends the surface line between the water and ground. I can keep playing with the settings until I find what I like, and then I can go and play through the animation. You're going to see that the caustics don't get updated just yet, but I want to see how the caustics look at different keyframes. For example, I have a couple of major keyframes, and I want to make sure that they look good across the whole animation. So I'm going to find the frame that I like, and I'm going to generate caustics once again. This texture is going to be rewritten and replaced. I'm going to adjust a couple of generation settings and click generate once again. I'm going to pick another keyframe, and I'm going to generate another frame just to see how everything looks. I like how everything looks, and if you like what looks on your side, you can go into the panel, set up the range of the generation for the caustics, and then click generate sequence. Depending on the settings, the texture generation can take a while. For me, with the settings which you can see on the screen, it takes me about 2 seconds per frame, so it's pretty fast. You can just go, get yourself a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, and return to your texture fully generated. After that, you simply replace the image texture with the image sequence. Make sure that you don't forget to set it to cyclic and auto refresh, and your caustics should be done. You should have your simulation playing in the viewport. And after adjusting some material settings, adjusting your light, making your scene and your environment, your swimming pool or whatever water you are making should look amazing. Thank you for staying with me during this tutorial. I hope you're going to have fun, and I hope you're really going to enjoy working with Real Caustics.